Okay. Now, we've been hanging on to this next story for a few months because someone we know here on the show got an early Christmas present way back in October. It happened on our visit to the Massey Aerodrome and Air Museum in Kent County, Maryland. And when you see an old Stearman biplane on the grounds, you know you're in for something special. We have Nick Morales is flying the Stearman here at Massey today. And Nick, tell us a little bit about this aircraft right here.
Well, it's a 1944 Stearman biplane. It was a World War II military trainer. They call it a Stearman because it's named after Guy Lloyd Stearman, who in the 20s and 30s was very famous in American aviation circles. And they built 10,000 of them between 1937 and 1945.
Now, you give rides here on a regular basis and at other places around the area. What's the best thing about flying one of these things?
For me, it's the joy of sharing the experience with people. Nobody gets out of this airplane without a giant smile on their face, is what I tell them.
And for our producer, Chopper Chuck, that big smile starts before he even gets off the ground. See, he's the guy that's getting the early Christmas present. Now, Chuck's flown in all sorts of fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters in his lifetime, but he's never flown in a biplane, which is something he's wanted to do ever since he was a little kid.
After the war, most of these planes were converted into the backbone of the U.S. crop dusting industry.
Yes.
And so we used extensively as crop dusters between the 45 and the late 60s, early 70s. And then in the 80s it became popular to find the survivors and restore them back and make them either a sport or a stock configuration. And this plane here is the stock configuration. Same type of engine, laid out and marked just the way it would have been during the Second World War.
The Stearman is easy to fly, but it's also known for its agility. Just check out this tight turn radius with the Sassafras River far below.
It's historic. It's old-fashioned stick and rudder flying. It's spectacular views. It involves all the sensation of being open cockpit. You got the wind in your face. You get the smell of the air. It's really quite a different flying experience. And I've taken up people who've never flown before. I've taken up World War II veterans, which has been a real special experience, especially when I've taken someone up who actually trained in this airplane, and there's less and less of those guys around.
But all good flights come to an end, and it's time for old Chuck to get his head out of the clouds and his feet back on the ground. So, how was it, Chuck?
Wow. I've been waiting my entire life to go ahead and fly in a biplane. That was incredible. I'm going to probably be walking around with this grin for about the next 3 days here.
So it's just a joy is the word I use to describe flying this airplane and taking people up, and most people who fly with me agree with that.